So it turns out I was sorely mistaken on how the Bengals and Steelers game would play out. I thought Cincinnati would be able to go into Heinz Field and take advantage of a struggling Pittsburgh defense, but something finally clicked for the Steelers. I guess they showed up as the Cincinnati offensive line got left in Cincinnati. They held the Bengals to 3 points, which is much better than the 24-point minimum they were allowing in each game beforehand. Defense racked up 8 sacks, an interception, and a fumble. They only before going into this game, they had 6 sacks on the year. They had 8 last night against the Bengals. Andy Dalton was 21 on 37 for only 171 yards, and the run game was shut down to 73 yards total. Auden Tate was the leading receiver with 50 yards on 4 catches. The good news is the fantasy lineup I gave you guys yesterday worked out. I'll show a screenshot of the lineup, mine and my opponents. As you can see, James Conner put on a show. You can also see what a big difference who you pick in the MVP slot makes. He had James Conner for 22.5 points, but I put him in the MVP slot, so I was able to get 33.75. Tyler Boyd was a bit of a letdown, as was the whole night for the Bengals offense, honestly. Auden Tate totaled the most fantasy points with 7. Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd both had less than 5. It's ridiculous. But picking a kicker was a good move, at least for Pittsburgh. Chris Boswell put up 10 fantasy points. This lineup probably definitely wouldn't have won any GPPs or any major tournaments or anything like that. But since I went head to head, the chances of winning are a lot higher, which is why I like playing head to heads a lot more. I'm not really good enough yet to pick a lineup that'll beat out hundreds or thousands of people. That's definitely somewhere I hope to get to soon because those prize pools are a lot bigger, but it's much harder to get there. You really got to find a good balance of players who consistently play well and put up good points. You got to find players that are maybe undervalued and primed for a big day, players not at 99% ownership. Otherwise, you'll have a tough time making a whole lot of money. Another thing I find helpful when you're just starting out is to stick to single game competitions. It's a lot harder to pick a good lineup that'll cover a whole slate of 10 or more games, especially when you get into like college football. You got so many games, so many teams, so many athletes that are capable of putting up good points. So you really gotta do your research and have a good strategy because you got to be different than your opponent, but you also have to be good enough to make money. So maybe try to stick, your first couple weeks or more, maybe try to stick to single game head-to-head competitions, and that way you can experiment with your lineups, especially if you go for cheaper competitions. It's, if you lose $1 or $2, it's not a big deal, but it gives you good experience and you know who was good, who wasn't, and then you can try to turn that into bigger competitions and bigger payouts. So I'd say our two key takeaways from this week is really be careful in choosing who you put in your MVP slot because, as you can see, it makes a world of difference. The other one I would say is that Andy Dalton is complete trash. So that was our Monday Night Football Week 4 recap. We'll be doing one of these for each lineup we get into throughout the week, as well as lots of other football-related videos. Good luck, and see you guys later.